Coming up on your favorite podcast, it's cold again outside in Minnesota, and we're bored. So Ty and I are here to talk golf for the next hour, previewing the upcoming season a little bit further. We're going to talk a little bit about what happened in Hawaii. We missed the Century Tournament of Champions breakdown. We're going to talk that. We're going to talk Sony. We're going to preview the American Express. Just going to get around all the news and notes in the world of golf and over the next 60 minutes. Ty and I like to have a little fun, and we hope you will too. So Ty, me, next, golf on the pod.
Welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out.
Hey! It's the Tim Anderson Podcast. I'm Tim. That is my good friend, buddy, pal, joyous, boyo, good old... I got nothing else. Ty Schrupp, ladies and gentlemen. My guy, Tyus. Hello, Tyus.
Hey, Tim, thanks for having me this week. We're just a week late to the party, but that's okay. We're here.
We are a week late.
To talk golf.
Yeah, we are a week late. Look, man, we knew that the Omicron was going to come for all of us, right? It hasn't come for me yet. I'm last man standing. But certainly you have found it. The gals found you are dealing with all kinds of it in your belly of the beast.
It's coming for you, Tim. Everybody I know has it or has had it recently. You might be the only one. It's pretty wild.
Yep,
we had to
just fighting through
volleyball tonight. So
boy, that's
because just pretty much everybody has it or lives in a household with someone who has it. So yeah,
it's coming.
It happened, but that's all right. It was for the benefit of us getting together and talking golf. So
yeah.
We'll take consolation prizes where we can get them.
I guess you're right about that. It has been it is a wild ride right now, and I agree. It's probably going to. I'm hoping if it's going to come for me, it comes after this weekend. Got a speech tournament on Saturday. We got a week off next Saturday. So not that you get to plan these things, but if it wants to wait till like Saturday night at like 11, be great. I'll take my 3-day cold and I'll deal with it and I'll move on because I'm triple vaxxed. I'm at max potency here. I can't do much more than what I've done. Just got to be ready to ride the damn thing out.
Yeah, that's I'm not going to be at the front of the line selling the vaccinations, but I will say that we were worried about my father-in-law and he's gotten over it pretty well. So never know what caused that, but hopefully it was the vaccination. So that's good.
Good job there. Indeed. I know a lot of folks who are kind of, like I said, everybody's getting it, which is going to get us to that herd immunity line, I think, pretty darn quick at this point because, my God, they're getting, which is good. We need to move on. I want to golf. And, I want to travel without wearing the masks and stuff. I want to do that. Got a big round of golf. I'm less than 60 days, Ty, from my first round of golf of the year. When I head out to Madeiras Golf Club in San Diego, just outside of San Diego, playing the Johnny Miller designed, beautiful Madeiras golf course. It's going to be fantastic.
I'm excited for you. I can't wait to hear the report. What does San Diego stand for?
It's a whale's vagina, I believe, is what it stands for. I believe discovered by the Germans, as you know. They're
well, I'm excited for this podcast. I won't ruin it because you're the host. You get to ruin things, but
people say I do that pretty well
for everybody.
Yes, we are drafting tonight. You and I are picking our teams, and I think this year, here are the rules for it. We're going to draft 4 guys each tonight. The first time major winners draft. So anybody who's won a major's out, can't draft them. We are going to follow this throughout the year. Obviously, winners count more than anything, but if there are no winners, we will track the highest finish for any one of these guys to determine the winner. But obviously, we'll track first win, and then we'll keep tracking to see just how many wins can get racked up at the end of the year. That'll be fun.
Unless somebody, the big guys get hot at JT, Spieth, Rahm, I do think there's a good chance one of these guys is going to win. I think last year, if I remember right, 2 of the 4 majors were won by first-time major winners, and the third one was Colin Morikawa, who it was his second major, but pretty relatively new to the club. So that bodes well for the young guys.
And that's about average, right? In the days post Tiger, other than the Spieth year and the Koepka years where he got really hot, you're always pretty much guaranteed 1 to 2 first-time winners a year. Outside the Tiger years, you'd get that all the time. And so it feels like we get 2 a year now. A couple years back, it was Lowry and it was Morikawa. And, you start to go down the line of all the different guys who've won in the last few years as first-time major winners. This year it was Rahm, too. You throw him in there, Matsuyama. The guys just break through at different times, and so you can expect, I think, at least 2 this year, right? I feel like it's safe to say.
Yep, good chance.
So we're going to do the first-time major winners draft tonight. Then we're going to get into a little bit of what we saw in Hawaii. Going to update everybody on the Pod X Championship, which is our season-long race. Obviously, Ty and I are still planning our round at Sand Valley for April or May, whatever that's going to be. It's going to be just terrific. We got a lot going on here on the Golf Pod here tonight. Shall we waste no time and get into this draft?
I see no reason not to.
Let's waste no time. Waste no time getting into the first-time major winners draft. Tyus, you are my guest, as always. I give you the first pick.
All right, for the first pick in the 2022 first-time major winner draft, I am actually taking someone that I forgot to write down, and it just popped into my head. That holy buckets, how could I not have this guy? Cameron Smith.
Cameron
favorite
Smith.
golfer on tour right now. I really like his chances.
Cameron Smith, we'll take a brief detour and talk a little bit about him at Sentry at the Kapalua. Certainly had to bolster your thoughts on him, right? I mean, he goes for 34 under par, absolutely decimates the golf course. And he was playing against a bomber in John Rahm, and he was blow for blow with him the whole way. It had to give you a little confidence.
Yeah, Cam Smith's always been one of those guys that I just don't feel like he's going to back down to anyone, even though it's mostly anomaly and we don't have a ton of hard, cold evidence of that. I mean, it's well documented that, if you want to call the Hawaii win big, previous to that, he really didn't have any big wins, but he plays well at majors and he just doesn't tend to fold. So, we went into this year kind of wondering about a number of guys who is going to really break out, and Cam Smith was one of those guys. And starting off your year with a win is there's no better way to burst onto the scene. So I don't know. It'd be hard to pick anyone else to be golfer of the year right now besides Cam Smith.
What do you think is the best major option for Cam Smith? Like, what's the one that you're like, I feel way good about him there at that venue?
You see, I don't know the classic courses all that well, and I really don't know what his track record is on true, like, Scottish links. I know he likes wind, he likes fast, but he does tend to play well at Augusta, really. That's kind of where we started to learn about this guy. And Australians tend to play well at Augusta for whatever reason. So I'm just going to say Augusta for now, just because, again, I don't know the U.S. Open and the PGA, the classic courses, all that well, and it's been a long time since we've been there. So yeah, I'll go with
I'm with
Augusta,
you on. I think St. Andrews is great for him. I think he likes courses where there's not a lot of trees, where the wind is a factor, where the conditions are firm and fast, and he can run the ball around a little bit, get some run out in the fairways, which is Kapalua played pretty soft, but there's still all those downhill holes where you can just get the ball to run for days. I think that's Cam's game. I think he loves that stuff. I like him at St. Andrews. I think that's a really good pick. I like it.
And he puts the eyes off the ball.
He can, boy, when he gets it rolling, man, good Lord, he makes everything. You got to like him. Although, could you imagine those proper blokes, those British gents, those blimey bastards overseas having to give the champion golfer of the year claret jug to another mulleted dude? And have to welcome, like they did that with John Daly, and I'll bet you they held their nose the whole time. And they're like, "Oh, we got to bring Daly back here for the next 40 years." Could you imagine them having to do that with Cam as well? Oh my God!
Yeah, Cam has the look, but he doesn't quite have the flair of John Daly. But yeah, I'm sure I'm sure Augusta would think the same thing, having him in the Butler cabin with his mullet, his mustache. I'm sure that would be a picture that would be worth 1,000.
Oh, God, I'm sure they would just be like, oh, this is great. What are we going to be having next year for the Champions Dinner with this guy? Going to have Vegemite sandwiches? I mean, can you just see that? I can just see this playing itself out. Oh, Tiger Woods choking down a Vegemite sandwich at the Champions Dinner.
Have you ever had Vegemite?
No, I don't want to have it. I can't imagine it's any good. What, have you?
Terrible. It's terrible.
You've had it. So would you
Yes.
have Vegemite or would you have Spam if you had a choice?
Spam.
100 times out of 100?
Yeah, I think Spam,
You could
probably
fry
is not
up
gonna have a
Spam and
whole
it's
lot of
probably
taste to it.
okay.
There's a lot of water in Spam, but Vegemite, I mean, you wouldn't be able to choke it down. That's an acquired taste, I'll tell you.
You could fry up Spam at the very least and get something that resembles.
Hide it in something.
Yeah, you can do that. That's no good.
Yeah, hide Vegemite.
All right, my first pick. You left me a pretty good one. I'm going to take Patrick Cantlay. I feel like that guy is the steadiest player. He's the defending FedEx Cup champion. The only thing I worry about with him is putting. But if we all know he can strike the ball and drive the ball as well as anybody, I don't think there's a course he can't play. I feel like last year was sort of the beginning of what I think we could see out of him. It's a matter of time before he wins a major. I think there's a chance he can win 2 of them this year. I like Cantlay a lot. I like him. Obviously, I think you got to like him at Augusta. I'm stunned he didn't play well there last year. I thought he'd play well at Torrey. I was totally wrong on that last year. But I think he can play well at the Country Club. He can play well at Southern Hills, and I think he can play well at St. Andrews. So I like him at any of those events, and I'll take Cantlay with the first pick.
Yeah, I like that. That would have been my next pick. The numbers don't lie. I know he's had his troubles, and he's been kind of an inconsistent putter, but I hate to come back to one tournament, but the way he putted at Caves Valley, I mean, a little bit, you don't just get hot like that. Not like that. No, if you don't know a little bit about putting. So I think it'll be there.
I think you might be right. He's got the game. There's no question. I just think like he should be. There's no reason why he shouldn't win like 4 times a year on the tour, like 3 to 4 times. He's that good. Like he's really good.
At the Ryder Cup, he can be a little bit of an alpha. So
no question.
He's not going to bow down to Bryson.
And I want him to be an alpha. I want that. I want more of that alpha like FU attitude. I want more of that from Cantlay this year. And if we get that, look out, everybody. All right, I'm going to give you number 2.
So I think I'm going to leave you a pretty good one, and I'm going to jump one down on my list. Just, it's kind of like a fantasy football draft, and you see that person, and you think, man, I could see them on my team all year. I'm going to go with Victor Hovland.
It's a great pick.
Think he's got the game. He has some big wins under his belt. Would not be surprised if he finds his way into the majors winner circle this year.
Hovland is the best. Like he's the best hope for Europe going forward, like Ryder Cup wise. Like they need like a really good Victor Hovland in the next like 3 to 5 years.
Definitely, and I think he's this year's Colin Morikawa, where we went in and we said he has a chance to compete at all the majors, and Colin Morikawa proved that. I think Hovland's going to be that guy this year. Doesn't he already have a win under his belt? Didn't he win at?
Yeah, he's won at. Yeah, he wins tournament? At some of these weird. Yeah, he won at Tigers tournament, but he also won at Mexico at Mayakoba. And I think he's got. He's won at a lot of these kind of exotic resort courses. I'd like to see him win at a. I want to see him win at a tough venue. Like go to Riviera and win something. Go to Torrey Pines. Then we'll talk. I think he's great though. I like Hovland. I think he's going to be really good. I am going to go. It's between 2 guys, so I'm just going to flip it here. I'm going to go Scotty Scheffler at the 2 spot for me. Scotty Scheffler.
Okay. So I get to go back up and get my designated second pick. So Scotty Scheffler. So Scotty Scheffler definitely has the game to win majors. Where do you like him this year? Where do you like his game?
I like
Another
him.
guy who doesn't have big wins under his belt.
That's true. He does not have big wins on his belt. And that's why I wonder if it may not be a year away, but maybe I'm buying for that Morikawa factor. Where like Morikawa bubbled, like he had won the Barracuda, he had started to kind of make some strides, and then all of a sudden he exploded at the PGA. And I think that could be Scheffler. I think Scheffler looks good for Southern Hills. I like him at the PGA Championship. He comes from that sort of Oklahoma, Texas area. He plays a lot of those kinds of golf courses. I don't think that playing in Oklahoma in the middle of May bothers him at all. I think he feels right at home in places like that. I have to assume he's played, because of college being so close to there, that he's played courses like Southern Hills 1,000 times. So I feel like Scheffler's going to play well there. I'm not ready to say he's Masters material yet. But look, any bomber, also, if they get to St. Andrews and he gets the right half of the draw, any bomber's got a chance to be a factor at St. Andrews. Any bomber, you name him. Because you can drive it anywhere you want over there and keep it in play. So Scheffler, I think, has got to be a real candidate to win. Definitely like him to do so. So go Scotty Scheffler.
I wonder what the Farmer's Almanac has for the weather this summer at St. Andrews. I feel like we've had some real mild weather at a lot of tournaments recently, and I would really love to see the wind kick up for St. Andrews.
When it kicked up in 2015, like it changed the whole golf tournament. I mean, it really did. Like, it looked like DJ was going to run away from it, and then it came back to earth, and Zach Johnson wins it.
Is that where they had the shot and they were pouring the water and it was going sideways?
I think that might have been one of those places, because they canceled that round. If you remember, they canceled the Saturday round or the Sunday round because of the wind. Like, it had got so bad that in links golf they called it unplayable. And they played Monday in the midst of a pretty ugly rain. Like, it wasn't quite driving rain, but it was windy, it was rainy, it was tough out there. And Spieth, at 17, Spieth couldn't get there with driver 4-iron, couldn't get to the green at the road hole. And obviously just missed the putt to get into the playoff, and it ended up being, an Oosthuizen-Leishman, Zach Johnson playoff won by Zach. Fascinating tournament. One of the better tournaments you're ever going to watch.
Right. And if you're not a Zach Johnson fan, you were definitely disappointed in the result. But Zach Johnson's a good golfer.
Yeah, people like Zach, but everybody was rooting for Spieth. Come on. No question about it.
Right.
All right, so who's your third pick?
All right, so I'm in between two guys, but I'm going to go, someone who was wearing gold recently, and in the words of Happy Gilmore, gold jacket, green jacket, who gives a shit? Xander Schauffele to win the Masters.
I like that. Xander was on my list, but he's due, right? And at some point, we're not quite at shit or get off the pot time for Xander, but we kind of are, right? Like, we're getting close. We're getting close to where it's like, yeah, you won the gold medal. That's great. We're happy for you. You've been on some Ryder Cup teams. Great. We're happy for you. But you haven't really won anything in a couple of years here. So, it's time. If you want to be a top 10 player, it's time to go.
Aside from the Olympics. But, he's kind of like Ricky Fowler. He's just a couple years behind, and you just fear that, if the big win doesn't come, he may just fall off the shelf. So, who knows? It's as good a chance as anyone. Had as good a chance as anyone to win the Masters in 2021, and obviously hit that shot in the water on 17. But tends to contend in these majors, and look for him to play well at Augusta. Yeah, that's the thing about Augusta is tends to be a lot of the same names, so it's hard to go away from your Spieths and your Xanders and Tiger in his day, and so I'm going to stick with the tried and true and go with someone who almost won last year.
All right, my third pick, I'm kind of throwing a dart here, but if you're asking me, like, you can take the purest ball strike, the guy who's going to give me the most chances, I think it's Sung J M. I got to take him. He's hungry. He's driven. He doesn't want to do the military service. He's got to get the opt-out from the folks in South Korea. You need a major to do it. Nobody's more motivated than he is to get this done. I think Sung Jae he's already got a win this year. Again, can Sung Jae putt? I don't know. But if he putts even average, he's going to be there in one of these events. And it feels like he plays on any kind of golf surface well. Like, I think you feel like he can play, in these Florida courses. You think he can play in the Midwest. You feel like he'll play up north. Anywhere, anytime. Sungjae feels like a golf whore. Like he's just going to always serve it up to anybody who wants it. Doesn't matter. He's going to play, and he's going to be ready to go. I like Sungjae. Give me a guy who's going to have opportunities. I think it's him. Third pick, I'm taking him.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot. He was on my list, just a couple down, but I would say once this draft is over with, maybe Cameron Smith, maybe Victor Hovland. Sungjae M might be the third best player, in this draft. So
as far as upside, if you're buying upside,
yeah.
for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love Sungjae. And besides, I want to take guys, too, that I want to root for. Like, dudes that are just really easy to root for. And, like, watching Sungjae is like watching poetry. It's like first time you ever heard the Beatles. So, yeah, hell yeah, I want to watch frickin' Sungjae M play golf. Yes. More of that, please.
Same.
Yes. All right, I'm going to give you the last pick, Tyus.
There's a lot of great guys on my list.
There's a lot of dudes here. A lot of dudes.
And I'm going to...
Jason Kokrak, right?
Guys.
You're taking Jason Kokrak? Is that what I heard?
Nope, not taking Jason Kokrak. He was not on my list.
Oh, good, because he wasn't on mine either.
I'm skipping over a couple of guys I like a lot. I think I kind of went with the tried and true guys previous to this, the guys who were kind of obvious. So I'm going to go for a little bit more of an out there pick, but a guy who plays well in majors. I don't know if you want to call him like Shane Lowry or who's the...
I feel like you're going to do this. You're going to take my guy. I just feel it. I feel it right now.
I don't think I am. I don't think I am. It's just the young guy who plays well in big tournaments. I'm going to go Eric Van Rooyen.
Wow, you're not taking my guy. You're taking Eric Van Rooyen. Wow, the Minnesota guy.
Yep.
Out of the University of Minnesota.
Courtesy of South Africa.
You know what? You are right about this. Eric Van Rooyen does seem to show up a lot. You feel like he's going to be on that President's Cup team. Like, you start looking at that President's Cup team, and you're like, I think the Americans could rout them. But I don't think that's an easy matchup at all. When you start looking around going, like, you got to go against Louis, Cam, Van Rooyen, Sungjae, Matsuyama.
Hovland.
Not Hovland, he's European. He's from Norway, so you won't play him. But you're going to get those top five guys we just mentioned, Im, Matsuyama, Cam Smith, Leishman, Oosthuizen, Van Rooyen. Those six guys are tough. Like, those are going to be really good guys to go against. They're going to be really hard to beat. That's a good team. And Abe Answer, we didn't even mention Abe Answer or Joaquin Niemann.
Joaquin Niemann, yep.
I mean, good God, those are good players.
Yep.
All right. So
who's your fourth pick?
All right, so I had my eye on a couple of guys because I wanted to go like you. I wanted to take a fourth guy that I thought would be like the Shane Lowry type, right? The guy that's good. He's in the mix all the time, but he's just below that like elite level, right? He's a notch below it. And that's my guy. So first, let me just tell you who I'm not picking. So just so we can build a little drama here, just a little bit. No Tommy Fleetwood. No Rick Fowler. No Max Homa. No Sam Burns. No your guy Cameron Tringali.
Tony Finau.
No Tony Finau. There's lots of names I'm leaving off this list. Because I'm going to go Mark Leishman. I think this is a guy that was in the playoff at St. Andrews in 2015. He's partnered with Cam for a couple of wins in the team event. He's a big dog. Like he's a guy who just plays in these events, and he smells like a guy for St. Andrews. Just smells like a guy that would play well at St. Andrews, you feel like. I'm almost not taking him for any other event except perhaps Augusta and St. Andrews. I don't think he'll win at the Country Club. I don't think that's a good pick for him. I don't think that's a great venue, and I don't know if Southern Hills is his venue either. But I think at St. Andrews, and I think at Augusta, Leishman can play really well. So I'm going to take Mark Leishman as my underdog, sneaky. I think he's going to be in the mix this year.
Yeah, again, one of those guys who tends to show up well at majors. There's guys who are kind of built for those tournaments and that pressure and that, kind of playing for par type mentality. He's certainly on that list. I considered a couple of the guys who have the track record, who are a little bit more long in the tooth. Not that Leishman's old; he's not old, but I considered for a second to Paul Casey and guys like that. But
it's over for Paul Casey. It's over for Paul
but
Casey. He's done, cooked.
Probably. He's still a good golfer though.
Some names we did leave out though. We left out a Will Zalatoris. And I
was going to ask you, did you have any interest in Will Zalatoris?
No,
I didn't have
none.
a lot of interest.
None.
Yeah.
Zero. Here's the thing. Everybody's buying Sam Burns and everybody's buying Will Zalatoris as maybe first-time major winners this year. And look, I think Sam Burns is really good. But I just don't feel that yet. Like he's won a couple of events on the tour in the last year, and good for him. But I don't have him at all in the first wave of elite guys on tour. Like, if you're like, oh, give me one guy today, Sam Burns ain't my guy. If you give me 10 choices, he's not in the top 10. So it's like, I can't take him. I think he's got game, he's got skills, and he could break through and win a big event this year. But, like, I have more confidence in Max Homa than I do Sam Burns.
Yeah, guys I glazed over were Finau, Fowler, Sam Burns, Max Homa, Neiman, Abe Ancer. And then Will Zalatoris was the last one I had written down. Sneaky pick, someone I think I'm going to draft next year after he breaks out a little bit, is a Doc Redman.
Interesting.
Former USAM champion.
See, I think he might stink.
Maybe.
But no love for Billy Horschel on this podcast.
No.
None whatsoever, even though he's played well. He's played very well. No. Any love for Tom Fleetwood? Does he make a return to form a little this year and get back in? Because remember, for about 2 years, that guy was in every major, sniffing around every major and never won it.
Yeah, him and Rick Fowler are kind of in the same boat. I'm not sure he fell off the table quite as much, but being that he's European, he kind of totally fell out of relevance, right? He was playing at the 3M Open when nobody else was, right? I'm not sure I'm totally confident that we're going to see him win a major.
Do you think you think like he had his chance, it's over, it's done? Like he had his 2-year, 3-year window and couldn't get it done?
I'm not sure. Do you think we'll see anything from Bob McIntyre this year?
No. I guess no? I haven't heard any buzz, no steam. Now, granted, could he go to Dubai?
Flash in the pan.
Could he go to Dubai this weekend and play really well? Yeah, maybe. Right? Maybe. Maybe he's one of those guys that goes to Saudi Arabia in the bone saw in a couple weeks and plays really well there. Maybe that's one of the things that he does. But I got to see it. I have to see it in a big event. Not like same thing with like Garrick Higo. We saw Garrick Higo last year really break out on the Euro Tour and then came over to the PGA Tour, got a win. McIntyre's got to kind of do the same thing. Like I kind of got to see that play itself out here. Before we can really, or at least win a big event over there. Go win the Scottish, now that that's a PGA Tour event in conjunction with the European Tour. Like, go win that event, like a big event with big dudes in the field. And we'll talk. We'll talk after that. Does Ricky battle back this year? Do you think Ricky's got a major in him? Like two guys, Ricky, Finau. Either one of those two guys ever win one?
I think Finau has a better chance than Ricky.
Because
I just think he's a better golfer. I think Ricky has his skill set. Short game can be great. When the putter's on, he can be really hot. But I think Finau is more of a total package, and I think Finau probably strikes a little bit more fear into a golfer if you're going head to head on Sunday. Just not because of his temperament or his aura or anything, but just because he is a total package golfer, right? He can bomb the ball, he can wedge it.
Yeah, he can't putt worth shit. Yeah, he can't putt. He's terrible. Terrible putter. Although Fowler last 2 years hasn't putted well either.
No.
But Tony Finau absolutely blows as a putter. One of the worst. But by the way, what's the tonight's episode of What's Ty Drinking? What is Ty drinking this evening? I just noticed you go to your drink. The mountains are blue. The mountains are blue. And Ty is muted. He turned his mic off to talk about the.
Sorry about that. The mountains are blue tonight. Yep.
Mountains are blue.
I like that.
You had a lot of fancy stuff in the beverage in the cup the last couple weeks, so it's kind of fun to see you just going with real traditional, real blue collar, trying to get in touch with your roots a little bit. I like that in you, Tyus. It's good.
Yep, just a little bit of leftover beer from the cabin. But yeah, I wish you had asked a couple weeks ago. I was drinking a nice red blend. And I think I downed the whole bottle while we were talking. So by the end, I was probably slurring my words.
Yeah, you were definitely loosey goosey. Started letting F-bombs off and all kinds of stuff going on. No, of course not. I mean, I think you got a few F-bombs in you. We tend to notice that on the golf course every now and again, but you tend to keep things pretty chill out here on the pod, which is what we like about you.
Thanks for asking.
All right, let's. We're going to follow that this year, the first time major draft. That's really going to rear its ugly head. We might do a special one for the players, too. Does the players count as a tiebreaker? What does the players count as to you if one of these guys wins the players?
I don't know, and the timing might actually be better for maybe FedEx Cup finish for a tiebreaker.
Maybe you're right. Might be right. Maybe the players is too soon.
I think everybody we picked is going to be in the mix for FedEx Cup points, right?
You feel like they're all going to play enough by then? Yeah, I think so.
I'm more so saying we didn't pick any, guys who generally play on the European Tour. No Tyrrell Hattons or anything like that.
Yeah, Tyrrell Hatton. I love Tyrrell, but he's not winning. No chance.
He could, but yeah, probably not.
No way. I'm surprised he finishes rounds with 14 clubs in his bag. Being honest, you feel like there'd be a round a day where he's coming back. He's like, well, I'll need a new 7-iron tomorrow. If the folks in the ping truck can go ahead and whip me up another one of those, that'd be great. Oh, I need a new wedge. Thank you. I'm just really stunned he comes back with 14 clubs consistently.
I know that you and I have talked about it, but we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the update on our season-long Pod X competition.
Yes.
What were the results again from this?
Let's go through that. Let's turn that, because that gets us into the Hawaii discussion, which I think is a good thing, right? Just to kind of review what we saw at Hawaii in the last two events, the Sony and the Century Tournament of Champions. After Tournament 1, the Century Tournament of Champions, as you know, the rules are, me and Ty take our guys every week in the FanDuel drafts, the daily fantasy drafts. If we've picked the same guys, we throw those scores out. They don't count. We only look at the guys that are unique to us that we don't have any doubles of. After week 1, I led by a total of 3.25 points. But Ty got to me last week with a strong finish from Kevin Kisner. Keegan Bradley tacked on an extra 50-some. Couldn't keep up with the 3 guys I had because they absolutely stunk. They played terrible, and Ty now leads after 2 weeks by 143.75 FedEx Cup points.
Man, that's great. Could we snapshot, just freeze time right now and keep it here for a little bit, because I don't feel good about my team this week. A lot of no-name guys, and I think you might make up some ground.
That's the hope. The hope is I'm making up ground this week, because I can't live with what we just saw this past week. What besides Cam Smith playing really well at Century and Matsuyama's absolutely stellar 3-wood into the green at 18, which was just nothing short of sublime. What stuck out to you about the Hawaii swing, the 2 tournaments in Hawaii?
Yeah, the Matsuyama approach in 18, someone called it the best 3-wood they've ever seen.
It was really good.
But Rory, though, at the Scottish on 18.
Yeah, I'm not ready to call it the best 3-wood I've ever seen, because guys have hit some really good 3-woods. I can't, I would argue Spieth at Chambers Bay hit a pretty damn good 3-wood into 18 that gave him a fighting chance in the tournament. So, there's lots of big-time 3-woods I've seen, but that one was... It was majestic. It was beautiful. It was everything that that's everything about Matsuyama that you love. He's just a ball-striking Jesse.
Don't forget about Bubba going driver off the deck. So driver into Kapalua.
Yeah, that was
hitting it to about 6 feet and making the uphill putt.
That's pretty special too.
And he only started at about 100 yards to the right of the flag.
Yeah, that guy is different planet when it comes to shot shaping. There's things he does that I have no idea how he does it, to be perfectly honest with you. Just genius stuff.
I really enjoyed Kapalua.
I did too.
there wasn't the drama of the playoff like last year. It wasn't Joaquin Neiman and
it was Harris English and a few others last year.
Okay.
Oh, you're talking about for
Yeah.
for the Sony. The Sony had some good stuff last year. Joaquin and Kevin Na and
well, wasn't it Kapalua where Joaquin was having a hot dog and a beverage with Sergio and
maybe that could have been right there. Yeah, that might have been right there.
Okay.
Yeah. I know Harris English won the Kapalua a couple years ago, or last year.
I didn't see a ton of the Sony. Obviously, I paid attention to the last couple holes, and I pay attention all week just on my phone. But I really enjoyed Kapalua, but I'm just, man, if the playing field is level, I'm not a big fan of lift, clean, and place because it just completely changes everything for these guys. It makes it just a total dart fest, and ultimately, the cream rose to the top, and Cam Smith was the winner, but by a record score. The course pretty much laid down overall, so that was disappointing. But we got to see John Rahm and Cam Smith battle it out, so it's hard to argue with that too much, no matter how we got there.
Yeah, Jordan Spieth shoots Jordan Spieth shoots 17, 18 under, and he's miles back. But you're sitting there going, 17, 18 under is pretty damn good. You feel pretty good about what you're doing, shooting 3, 4 under par every round, and not even close. Like he wasn't even close, and. It does drive home this point that you can do whatever you want to the golf course. You can make it longer. You can do whatever you want to the rough. You can do whatever you want to whatever. If the green complexes are not really challenging and fast, and the course doesn't have wind or weather or conditions, it's pretty calm and soft. If it's calm and soft and the greens are pretty flat, these guys are going to destroy the golf course. Like it doesn't matter where we play. It really doesn't. They will kill every golf course if the conditions are tough. This is partly how 3M survived last year in that 3M Open. The wind picked up, and with all the water at TPC Twin Cities, it became a massacre at 18. Thank God. Could you imagine what they have done to that course if there was no wind? They'd have shot 25, 26 under par. You got to have weather with these guys because the modern clubs are too good and the players are too good.
Right. Then you let the players clean the mud off their ball, and it just takes it to the next level. But, yeah, I did enjoy, again, really what we want as golf fans is to see good golfers, names we want to see in the final round battling. You don't want to see anyone pull away. And both of these tournaments, nobody pulled away, right? Matsuyama won in a...
Yeah, Henley looked like he was going to pull away. Like
Yeah.
Henley had the 5-shot lead with 9 to go. Couldn't hold it.
Is it Russell Henley? You're not a fan of Russell Henley, are you?
He's a good player. I think he's just one of them serviceable journeymen who's going to be great on the Champions Tour.
Maybe I'm thinking of Harris English. You don't like
Harris English. Yeah, he's boring. Harris English does next to nothing for me. Less than
That's what I
zero.
was thinking.
Does less than zero. Rahm, is he the most unlucky guy in the world?
Are you referring to Kapalua?
Well, just think about his whole year last year. He gets COVID twice. He can't go to the Olympics. He loses the Memorial because he has to withdraw with like a 6-shot lead heading into the final round, a tournament that he probably would have won. He plays his ass off in the FedEx Cup playoffs, would have won the Tour Championship in the old system, but because he was giving 4 shots to Patrick Cantlay before the tournament even started, he doesn't win that tournament. He plays Cantlay to a duel at Caves Valley, loses. He, the year before, plays Dustin Johnson to a battle, can't win the FedEx Cup. He can't go to the Olympics because of COVID. I just feel like he's the most... he did win the U.S. Open. Very fair. But I feel like he's like the most snake-bitten golfer I think I've ever seen. Like this week at Kapalua, what did he shoot? 21 under on the weekend? And didn't win? He shot 21 under and he didn't win on the weekend. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, the scores are pretty ridiculous for that tournament. But I don't know if I would say that he's unlucky. He's a great golfer who we've found out doesn't have to have his best stuff, and he can still be the best player on the golf course. And that's saying a lot for how good our tour is right now. I say our tour.
It's ours. It's ours.
Our tour. Okay, we're a part of it.
Yeah, I agree.
So the really we're kind of post Tiger Woods here, and still we can say like we don't have the dominant force of Tiger Woods, but the tour is in great shape with a lot of great golfers, and there are none better than Jon Rahm. Can you imagine how fast he'd have flown off the board if he wouldn't have won the U.S. Open this year?
First guy off.
Yeah, no question.
No question.
We wouldn't have even had to say it.
Nope. We would have just said it would have been kind of like the Bengals with Joe Burrow. Like they knew for 6 months they were going to take Joe Burrow. That's what it would have been.
But I think what we find out is it's not always, these great golfers don't always burst onto the scene, and they tend to have their trials and tribulations early on, their close calls, their, runner-ups and bridesmaids, never the bride. And then all of a sudden, once they break through, they tend to really, truly break through, because you do have to learn to win a golf tournament. Just being able to hit the ball well is not going to win you a major golf tournament when there's 75 other guys who can hit the ball just as well as you, or who the 75 best golfers in the world, everybody's there. It's tough to win golf tournaments. And I think Jon Rahm has just been figuring out how to win golf tournaments. The COVID stuff, I think Jon Rahm was, so he got COVID, was criticized for not being vaccinated, got vaccinated, then got COVID again. He might have been the first person who we realized, you can get COVID again, and you can get COVID soon after getting vaccinated. Gets pulled off in a tournament. He's up by 5 strokes before Sunday. Yeah, that sucks. Not able to go to the Olympics, whatever. I don't know. I haven't listened enough to him to know if that's important to him. It's important to some people. It's not important to others. But I really think it's more of that. I think he just had to learn how to win, and I think he probably knows how to win by now. And I would be very afraid of Jon Rahm if I was anyone else.
John, I know that's right after the Open, but come to the 3M Open after the British Open. Please do. We would love to have you make the flight here. Ty and I would be happy to stand wherever you are to watch you play golf live and in person.
Absolutely.
Have I already told you my strategy for the 3M this year? I'm going to find the most obscure. Yes. I'm going to find an obscure golfer. Yep, just a really obscure. I'm going to be the only guy in the gallery. Just being the only guy applauding, because I want him to wave, and I want him to just wave to me when he makes a putt, because he's hearing just one applause, and it's me. He's turned around. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate that.
I think we talked about this. There's, the most fun I might have had at the 3M this year was following, I don't even remember who it was, and standing by the ball washer and having the caddy come over and give you a little nod and washing the ball. You kind of get to see, he carries the bag over and you get a closer look at the bag. You get a closer look at what a caddy carries and things like that. So yeah, I love it. I think we need to go 2 days this year. I think we need to go Sunday and follow one of the final groups, do that whole thing, just kind of be there for the finish.
Feel the energy of it.
Because sometimes, there'll be a big tournament like a major or something like that, and there'll be a 3-stroke lead going into 18, and my wife will say, well, we know who's going to win. Why do we need to watch? And the reason that I like to watch all of these things, I like to watch the NBA finals, the final game. I like to watch the Stanley Cup, because these are the things that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. I tend to be able to come back and say, okay, I think it was it 2016 that the Tampa Bay Lightning won the Stanley Cup Finals or whatever. You remember these things for the rest of your life. The 3M Cup the 3M Championship is kind of that for us. We'll probably always be able to recall who won, in what fashion, who was contending. So it'd be fun to be there for one of those, because I think you and I would be able to recall that back to when the tournament.
Problem is I go to the 3M and I Jones. I just want to play. I want to go in the morning, leave at 1, go put a peg in the ground at 3, and be out and playing, because I'm so into it. I get so excited watching these guys play, and I get jazzed up to see what I can go do. I can't do it, but I'm fascinated by it.
Oh, that's not off the table. So we got to go twice. We got to go to an earlier round, follow some no-namers, and then let's go on Sunday and follow the
crowd. Okay. You might be able to talk me into that. We'll see what happens. All right. Ty, we switch. We're in the continental United States. We are in the lower 48. Finally, we're here. The American Express over in La Quinta, Palm Springs. Here we go. This long run on the California swing in Arizona starts now. We're there for like the next month and a half, where we're going to go to Torrey, we're going to Pebble, we're going to Riv, we're going to Scottsdale. This is kind of a fun stretch of golf starting right here.
See, personally, I'm not a big fan of the California swing, and it might just be the doldrums of the PGA Tour season.
Because it's winter. It sucks here.
I like Hawaii because, it's kind of the unofficial beginning of the season. Some of these guys have played 6 to 8 tournaments, but really no tournaments of any merit. And then we kind of get into this California swing. I'm not a big fan of Riviera. I'm not a big fan of this tournament. I'm not a big fan of the American Express, right?
Yeah, this tournament should
be a championship. It should be a classic. The American Express makes it sound like you're a major, and you're quite a ways from that.
It's not. It's a tournament that it feels like it should be more fun than it is. Like the course, like you play Pete Dye. It's a Pete Dye. The PGA West is. It's a fun course. It's a Pete Dye design. I like Pete Dye courses. This tournament should be more fun than it is, and it's usually not. I don't know if it's the 3 golf courses being used. I don't know what it is, but this tournament feels like it just continues to lack an identity, even with Phil hosting.
And the tournament is very top-heavy. There's some. John Rahm's going to be there. Patrick Cantlay is going to be there, but it drops off pretty quick after that.
Yeah, and it's usually won by, somebody kind of obscure. It's an okay tournament, but I think it's sandwiched in between the stuff we like watching, right? It's sandwiched between Kapalua and Sony, and then Riv and Torrey and Waste Management, and we like those events.
Yep.
This one just does very little for us. Like this one,
and it's the NFL playoffs, so there's
we're in the divisional round of the playoffs, and actually in traditional years, this would have been the championship round. This would have been the
AFC
NFC championship game. But this year it's just a divisional playoff round. So maybe that's better for the golf. I don't know, but there's more football games. That's the only problem. Now you're up against Saturday games and Sunday games again. It's not going to be a good number for the tour this weekend. Just not.
No. But we'll be watching.
We'll watch. All right. So the Amex. Let's get our picks in. Obviously, these picks go a couple of different ways. We're obviously gambling. We're playing our daily fantasy. We're not promoting the site because they're not paying us, but we're doing it anyway. So far, I've broken even. I'm still a little ahead through a couple weeks this year, but want to make up some ground here in the old FedEx Cup with you here because you took a nice lead. You're in good shape. Who do you got? First pick.
So my first pick, I went the old tried and true best player in the world. For $12,100. Hopefully you don't cancel me out there, John Rahm.
I did not cancel you out. I will say that because I thought about it. I really did. Chose not to. It's really bad to yawn in a podcast. I'm not bored. I don't know what it is. I'm just yawning all of a sudden. Can't explain it. I feel good. Could this be the onset? Is yawning a symptom, Ty? You gotta. What are you doing? You're muting the mic. You're talking shit to me, but you're muting the mic.
Well, I don't want you to hear what I say about you if it's not good.
Well, I guess you're right. All right, my first pick. I went with the guy right below you. I took Patrick Cantlay. I took Jason Bourne, as they say. I'm taking Patrick Cantlay to. I like this setup for him. I think. Playing out west, I think he does well in these things. I think this is a good time for him. I like it, and so I think he'll play well here. I'm taking Patrick Cantlay.
Not a bad pick. Obviously, I won't argue with the pick, considering I'm sorry he's going to be canceled out. I took Patrick Cantlay for $11,900. All
right, so
we're out.
I had a lot
of money to spend.
So Cantlay's out. You and I cancel each other out. Cantlay not a factor in the scoring this week. So you already got a huge advantage on me. Huge advantage. Yes.
I have the best player, and I canceled out the second best player.
Wow, that is some absolute
buffoonery.
Well, that's chutzpah on your part. I'll tell you what. That is some really moxie move right there. You take him with your second play. Oh, Jesus. All right. All right, guys, time to rally. My second pick, I took for $10,100. Again, I'm going the California kid. I'm playing the redemption story. I'm taking Ricky Fowler. Rick Fowler to play well this week. I need it now, too, now that you got John Rahm by himself up top.
I mean, it's gamesmanship. You can't dog me for that.
No, I can't.
I did look at Ricky Fowler. I have a little bit of a theme you'll probably pick up on, especially after taking the top two guys in the field. But I just couldn't take Fowler because I don't know that he has played a lot of golf yet. So I think he's going to have to kind of get into it. And you do have to say, I was right about Cam Smith at the Sony.
Yeah,
I said he was going to fall off the shelf, and he did.
Yeah,
he missed
did.
The cut, I think.
I was trying to play the heater, and I normally agree with you on the strategy. I normally don't like to ride a guy 2 weeks in a row. I just liked Cam at that course. The course matchup just felt too good, and he was 3 under after round 1. He didn't even play all that well, and I just thought, well, he'll get it going and find a way to make the cut and get a little something on the weekend and stay in there. Didn't think he'd win it, obviously, but I was hoping he'd make the cut. Missing the cut sucked there. All right. Number 3, who you taking?
So my third pick, I went with someone who's played in 8 tournaments this year, the anti-Ricky Fowler. He's made 8 cuts. I spent a little bit of money on this guy, but you said he's my guy, so I had to take him. Taylor Gooch.
Your guy, Taylor Gooch, who is, I think, what is he, second or third still in the FedEx Cup standings? I mean, he is having a very nice start to the season.
Yep.
I took him last week. He did get me some points, so I guess I can't get angry, but not enough to catch you, obviously. All right, third pick for me. $9,500 as I worked my way down the list, tried to create a budget. A former winner of this event, guy who shot 59 here, Adam Hadwin. $9,500, Adam Hadwin.
Adam Hadwin is a good golfer.
I need some love
Adam
here.
Hadwin.
I need some love here big time now. I'm really hating what's happening here. You have Gooch and Rahm versus Fowler and Hadwin at the top two. Not a good sitch.
Okay.
Not a good sitch.
I'd take Hadwin over Taylor Gooch. That's a good pick. I like Adam Hadwin.
Yep. Fourth pick for you.
Fourth pick, I went with someone who played well at the Sony for $8,500. He was kind of there all week. Never really had a chance to win, but I went with Michael Thompson.
Yeah, the beard. You know, he won the 3M in the pandemic year with no crowd. And so you say to yourself, what is that? Is that a win that's legit, or is that a win because there were no crowds and different kind of pressure? But he played really well in Sony, and the beard is interesting. You just wonder if there's a little flair there in Michael Thompson's game.
He's making a push.
Making a push. Here he comes. All right, I'm going to take the tournament host with my fourth pick for $9,200. He's talking a good game. Let's see if he can start playing it. I'm going to take Phil the Whiner Mickelson, who is just whining about everything. The rules, the USGA, calves, bombs. All right.
Yeah.
Go play some goddamn golf, Phil. Go play golf.
He played okay at Kapalua. I thought he did fine.
Yeah, that's partly why I'm taking him. Is he struck the ball pretty well. He struck it well. Yeah, he struck the.
So I don't hate the pick at all. I mean, it's certainly a guy that could contend really at any time. We're going to pick a lot of guys throughout this year, that guys who just don't have a chance to win. We're hoping they make cuts and make birdies and make putts and get us points, but Phil could be at the top of the leaderboard at the end. You never know.
Phil is the ultimate feast or famine dude at this stage in his career, right? Like it's like he's like the Ricky Bobby of the league. Like it's first or last. Like it's checkers or records.
Doesn't care about FedEx Cup points. Doesn't care about money.
Not interested in winning the FedEx Cup. Yep. Might go play the bone. He's going to go play the Bone Saw in a couple weeks instead of playing Pebble. You know, he might go take that Saudi money. He's feeling good about that. Although, if you hear what the European Tour did, the Euros looked at Henrik Stenson and said, you have two choices. You can be captain of the Ryder Cup team in Paris or in Italy, or you can go take Saudi money, but you can't do both. Which, that's the kind of stuff that the PGA is going to start throwing around. They're going to be like, Phil, you can captain at Bethpage Black, or you can take Saudi money. Those are your choices. And Phil might just say, screw it, I'm taking the Saudi money. Okay,
yeah,
you can do that.
Yeah, he's kind of got the middle finger lately, so that wouldn't surprise me.
Fifth pick for you.
So fifth pick, I went with Dylan Wu for $7,700. Kind of reminds me of Kenny Wu from the Mighty Ducks, and I kind of like that. He's my cheapest guy on the board this week. He's played in 5 tournaments, made 4 cuts, including a T20 finish at the Sony. So riding a little bit of a heater, Dylan Wu.
Kenny Wu. Oh, I like that. All right. I had some money, so I went back to the top and said, what splash can I make here? So I made one. 11,500. I took Scotty Scheffler. Scotty Scheffler, not because I knew you were going to do something dirty or dastardly with the Cantlay pick, but I had a little money left over because I was like, I want to go back up and take one more swing, and I took Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, that probably the 3rd best player in the tournament. It's just so top heavy. I knew you were going to take one of those top 2 guys. So when you told me you didn't have Rahm, my mouth started watering.
So it's basically Rahm versus Scheffler.
Scotty Scheffler, that's your guy. That you certainly have a shot with Scotty Scheffler.
Rahm versus Scheffler at this tournament. It could come down to those 2 guys. Very possible.
Yep.
And again, so we're both playing with 5 guys this week because Cantlay's out. So, All right, your last pick.
So my last pick, I stuck with my theme, just guys who are practiced and confident coming in. This guy's no different. 6 out of 7 cuts this year. 3 of those 17 or better finishes. Vincent Whaley for $8,300.
Going with one of them Corn Ferry guys. Really, he played. He's a perennial name in the Corn Ferry. But this feels like a good event for Corn Ferry guys, though. A lot of guys who are like those high-end Corn Ferry dudes just getting on the tour. It's a good event for them.
Who's the younger Corn Ferry guy who doesn't wear a hat?
Well, it was Schneider Jans. Yeah, but who's the new guy? Schneider Jans, yeah. Everybody thought he was going to be cool. I think he's still on the Corn Ferry. He hasn't been able to get back. Yeah. I like a guy who doesn't wear a hat, though. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
It looks weird, though. Yeah. Although in the 80s, nobody wore a goddamn hat. Like, you watch all those old 80s films, nobody's wearing a hat. But yet, now it's weird.
It's like Lucas No Glover.
Yeah, that is weird. My last pick, I'm going to take a guy who played well last week, but he's kind of a hit-and-miss guy. He's only made 4 of 8 cuts, but he's got a lot of game. He's young. Davis Riley for $7,800. So I took a gamble on Nick Hardy last week. I bombed, so I'm going to come back this week and try another one with Davis Riley. Hope we can make a cut there. Cuts are the key here. We need to... our 5 guys that are left have to score here to kind of break into Ty's lead a little bit. Got a nice cushion, Ty, heading in.
Do you have a spreadsheet or something that you're keeping track of?
Yep, I've got this on a little form. I got it on a piece of paper right now. I got to move it to a spreadsheet at some point, but I've been tracking on paper right now for the first 2 weeks. I will move to a doc at some point.
I like that we're doing this because I usually play in $1, $2, maybe $5 if it's a bigger tournament. This I'm looking more forward to, and I'm being more careful with my picks, knowing it's this season-long deal with you versus knowing I could, might win $10. Right?
This is for a round. Now, this is for a round of golf, which we're going to have to settle this. It's a fall round of golf.
Yep.
So, because this will cap at the Tour Championship. And actually, I think it should cap at the Wyndham because the playoffs are different, right? Do you think we should cap this thing at the Wyndham Championship and just see who's the regular season? And that way we can pick an event in August and we can go play golf somewhere in August to settle this thing?
Sure.
I like that. So Wyndham, we're going to take this all the way to the Wyndham Championship. All the way to the Wyndham. This is going to be fun.
And we should go play Troy Byrne. That should be the round.
The round is Troy Byrne. All right, that's fair. We're going to go play Troy Byrne and Hudson. The loser buys. Loser buys of this event. Loser buys Troy Byrne in Hudson, a top 10 golf course in the state of Wisconsin. Absolutely beautiful. Tom Lehman design. We're going to play that thing. I love it. And we'll wave it goodbye when we head up to Sand Valley in a couple short months. It'll be fantastic. Tyus, great job this week. I know you went in here playing hurt. You were playing injured. You rallied, couple Coors, and here you are. We crank out a fine podcast. Well done today.
Yep. Thank you. That was fun.
We kept it short. And we did that just for you and for all the listeners at home who like the Golf Pod. We want to thank you for tuning in this week. Again, find us in the archives. Also, Spotify, Pandora. You can keep track of all the picks we've made week in and week out here on the podcast. And you can send me an email, timpodcast1@yahoo.com. And all that jazz. All the places you can find us on the podcast. Please do so. So until next time, for Ty, this is Tim saying keep your head up, and we'll see you.